I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're exploring faith, sacrifice, and the powerful humanity of Jesus Christ in his darkest hour. The name of the book, a thought-provoking book, is The Human Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. It's written by a terrific author by the name of John Dumke, and he invites readers to witness the emotional and spiritual struggle of Jesus as both God and man. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Books to Life Marketing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. John, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Pleasure to be with you.
Pleasure to have you on the show. What made you decide to focus specifically on the Garden of Gethsemane?
Interesting. I was just finishing my first book, which is a book on marriage, and I was reading in the book of Mark, and two words came to my attention. As Jesus was leaving the 8 disciples at the gate to Gethsemane, he took 3 with him, Peter, James, and John, to walk further. And then here are the 2 words. It says, he was sore afraid. But what does sore afraid mean? So I had to look it up. And what it meant was he couldn't move. And I thought, my word, so that's why he had the 3 with him. And then to verify that, when he left the 3 to pray while he went to his praying rock, it said he took 2 steps and fell on his face. Yeah, he couldn't move. It was too strong.
Yeah, a very human reaction to having such a horrible fate bestowed upon you. And that's the point of your book. Understanding Jesus' humanity changes the way we see his sacrifice, right?
That is correct. He had to face it. He knew it was going to come. He'd seen people sacrificed on the cross, crucified. But it's always easier to think about something that's going to happen in the future than it is to face it when you actually have to. And this is what he was doing, facing, I'm going to be on the cross very shortly.
Absolutely. Why is it significant that Jesus prayed 3 times to avoid the cross?
I think it's a good experience or a good example for us. Sometimes we think that praying is a matter of, I'm just going to pray, okay, God, I need a new car, and then we go about our business. No, it's more a matter of us taking time to communicate with God. And if we have to have our minds changed, which in his case it was, because on the first prayer he said, oh God, isn't there some other way we can do this? I don't want to go through it. He's sweating blood, for heaven's sakes. But after the 3rd hour, he came out and his godness had taken over his humanity and he was ready to go forward.
And that's essential parts of Jesus. He was both fully God and fully man, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And it helped him understand his fate a little bit more. And eventually he just, basically succumbed to the will of the Father, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
As he said, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sir.
As he said, not my will, but thine be done, Lord.
Yeah.
And I pray that every day over the issues of my life.
Yeah. It's very, very true. Thy will be done. Why do you believe, or what emotions do you believe Jesus was experiencing that night?
Quite a few. The first thing is he realized he had to do this to save humanity. He and the Father and the Holy Spirit had had this discussion long time before. He knew this had to happen because this penalty had to be paid, because nobody could go to heaven until after he paid the price demanded of the Father, and that is a perfect human being had to be sacrificed for all humanity. And that's the key to what everybody thinks about now that we're coming up on Easter. If Jesus hadn't done that, we'd still be living in the Old Testament. Nobody could go to heaven.
Yeah.
We went to what is called Abram's bosom. What is that? I don't know,
Yeah.
but it wasn't heaven.
Yeah.
And so he had agreed that he would pay this price. And if you think about it for a minute, if you lived in the most wonderful place in the world, heaven, with your wonderful father and had everything you possibly could ever imagine, and then said, okay, because we love mankind this much, I'm going to go down to earth, become a human being, and then I'm going to sacrifice myself on the cross.
Hmm.
It's just unimaginable that anybody would do it, but he did.
What do you think Jesus's vulnerability teaches us about our own trials, our own challenges?
Looking forward to the future, because what he did after those 3 hours is he put his mind on, when this is over, then I'm going to be with the Father, and I'm going to be in this new resurrected human body for all of humanity, and all of humanity will be saved. When we have difficulties, I think it's important to look past the difficulty into the future, because that's what he showed us.
Absolutely. Why do you think the Garden of Gethsemane is often overlooked in modern teachings?
It's so much easier today to preach, I don't want to say a prosperity gospel as much as a good time gospel, than it is to understand the price that was paid and the price that we have to pay. It's very hard for mankind, especially in America, for us to cast aside our desires for God's desire, and for us, and we have to go through that. We have to come to a point of submitting ourselves wholly to God.
Yeah. And what role does surrender play in the Christian journey as shown in your book?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What role does surrender play in the Christian
Oh,
journey?
yes. Uh, I think, I hope that as people read this, they'll see that it is important for them to surrender, because that's what Jesus did. He gave us the example of total, complete surrender to nothing that we can even imagine. We can't even imagine what he had to go through. But the surrender means that we win.
Yeah.
If what really hurts people is pride. They get so proud, and I'm going to say myself, we can get so proud of the way we are and what we've accomplished that we forget it's all a gift of God, because tomorrow, tonight, this day, you could die.
Yeah, without a doubt. What do you hope readers take away from your book?
A little more understanding of the humanity of Jesus and how he gave us an example to live by. That, I would say, would be the crux of it.
Yeah. Easter is coming up today, where we put on our best clothes, our bonnets. If some still wear bonnets, we get baskets and we have the Easter bunny and all of that. Do you think, in a way, Jesus's darkest moments in Gethsemane are overlooked uh, prior to the resurrection when we celebrate Easter?
Probably because it's too hard for us to think about that.
Yeah,
It's too hard to imagine it. When you think that all the disciples except for John didn't show up there. And I'm sure they didn't, because they just couldn't imagine having to look at it.
yeah,
And so it's much easier to think about the resurrection. Oh, he's risen from the dead.
hmm,
And I think that our focus needs to be on the resurrection, but we have to understand what Christ paid for our salvation.
exactly. What led up to that moment, the glorious moment of his resurrection, without a doubt. Is this your first book? Tell me a little bit about your writing career.
I started writing about 20 years ago. In the first book, quite frankly, I was walking, and I heard I was 55 years old, so I guess it's 30 years. But anyway, what I heard in my spirit was, I want you to write a book about marriage. And why would that be? Because my wife and I had such a fantastic marriage.
Hmm.
And so I started arguing with the Lord, saying, "Oh Lord, there's so many people who much better than me who could write it." Before I got done telling him why not, he said, "I want you to title it The Majesty, the Mystery, and the Mission of Marriage."
Hmm.
And when that hit me, I started to weep. I said, "Oh
Wow.
God, it is you." And so I started writing that. And then the next book, of course, is the one we're talking about. And after that, I wrote another one called I'm a Simple Man with a Simple Faith Who Added All the Junk. And then
That's
we're
great.
right now working on the newest one, which is They Knew He Was the Christ, but they wouldn't accept this guy from Galilee.
That's
And
great.
it's kind of interesting.
Very
Anyway,
cool. Very cool perspective. All of your books have a cool perspective, unique look at God, Jesus, marriage, as you mentioned. Wonderful work on your books. Wonderful work on this book that we've been talking about today. It is called The
thank you.
Human Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. In it, John invites readers to witness the emotional and spiritual struggle of Jesus, both as a man and a God. Through
Yes.
deep reflection and spiritual insight, the author offers us help to understand that divine love that triumphed through humanity, vulnerability. John, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
I
God bless you.
God bless you. I appreciate your time, your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.